Hi. We've heard some good examples of human use of wood. I'm going to expand this to wood in the natural world and animals that live with wood or in wood. When I think of the wonder of wood, this is my picture. It's a place where there's live trees, dead trees. There's all sorts of things living in here, and it's just, what could there be? So we'll start humbly. This is what happens when you peel the bark off a fallen log. And some of you may know these are the tunnels made by the larvae of bark beetles. So they're made by little grubs. And we all know what the mountain pine beetle and the damage it does. This is not that one, but it's sort of the same basic biology where the adults lay the eggs in the tree, then the larvae then hatch out and dig the tunnels. This you may know as a wood bug. And turn over any log anywhere and you'll find these guys underneath. They're actually called isopods. And what's interesting about them is they're not bugs or insects, or they're crustaceans. So perhaps I think they should be called land prawns rather than wood bugs. Now we'll go from the bottom of the forest up to the top. This bird is called a western wood pewee. And you may never have seen one, but there's probably one that's gone through your backyard in the past week. They're very common fly-catching birds. And this is another migrant bird it's one of the wood warblers. And this is a Kentucky warbler that we don't have here, but we do have several that are just as beautiful. I urge you now to go home and look at the weather radar. And what happens at sunset tonight, you'll see as soon as the sun goes down, a huge burst of activity around every radar site as these guys migrate through. This is a wood thrush. This is one of my favorite birds. I want to play its call for you. This is the sound of my childhood in Ontario in the summertime. And it's one of the things that made me want to become a zoologist. It's singing, like, become a zoologist. You'll never make any money. Okay. Now, this is a woodcock. Woodcock's a magnificent little bird. It's like a croquet ball with a beak. And they're related to sandpipers and plovers, but they live in the woods and they probe along with that long bill, picking out worms. Now, if you're going to think of a wood animal, probably woodpecker is one of the first things you think of. This is the pileated woodpecker, which is the biggest one we found here. And again, they're here in Richmond. You can see them if you're lucky. And they're magnificent birds because they're really powerful and they can dig deep, deep furrows in trees to get at the carpenter ants, which is their main food source. And that's important not just for that, because they then leave big holes that other birds, such as wood ducks, can live in. And a lot of people are surprised to know that a lot of ducks live in tree holes, but these do, and that's why they're called wood ducks. And they're locally common. If you want to see them, you can see them at Burnaby Lake or at the Rifle Bird Sanctuary. This is a wood stork. I decided to go tropical a bit. This is from Florida, and they also are through the Caribbean. It's the only stork in North America. I remember being on vacation out there once and seeing one of these come down from the sky with its wings outspread. It's like an angel coming down to land. And then it turned into a beautiful tropical bird like that in mid-flight. No, this is a wood hoopoe, and it's an African bird. And it's related most closely to our birds of the kingfisher family, but they behave like woodpeckers in Africa. Now we'll go back out of the bird world. This is a wood frog. These are quite small. They're about 2 inches long. They're recognizable by their black mask, and they're one of the first ones to come out in the winter. They'll come out when it's really very cold. In fact, they can actually be frozen solid and then come back to life again. And this is a wood turtle. Named so because I think because of its sculpted shell. They're from Ontario, the Maritimes. They're known as being one of the most alert and intelligent of the turtles. But you have to remember the bar is pretty low. But they love, and this is a spiny wood lizard. Now, my specialty when I was doing my doctorate was on lizards, and I wanted to find a spiny lizard. This is from South America. I'd never heard of it before. I just found it on the internet. And all I can say about it is it looks pretty alert and intelligent as well. So, yeah. These are wood bison. We think of bison as being animals of the plains. There's a subspecies that's found in northern Saskatchewan, Alberta, BC, in the Peace area, and formerly into Alaska. They're even bigger than the plains bison. This is a bushy-tailed wood rat. Now, if its tail was naked, it would be gross. It would be a rat. but because it's fuzzy, it's cute. Except that they have a real habit of building a nest. They're also called pack rats. And they like building nests out of sticks. And one of the places I like to build them is on top of the engine block of your car. And this is a marmot, which is the same. It's our version of a woodchuck. This is the only picture I took. It's sitting on a pallet in front of the Lingnan Mountain Temple on number 5 road. We were driving up the road. My wife was driving. I said, "Marmot." and she knew to stop because otherwise I just would have jumped out. And somehow it got there. But our true national rodent associated with wood is, of course, the beaver. This cannot be a live animal because they don't come out in the sunshine. They don't wait till their fur gets dry, and they don't pose as if they're proud of what they just did. But this shows their works. Next to humans, they modify their habitat more than any other animal. And you can see, there's their lodge back here, but this would be habitat for all sorts of things, for mink, for fish, for wood ducks, for the thrush that sings so beautifully. This is heaven on earth, as far as I'm concerned. And the way to get there is this way. And this, I knew how to canoe before I knew how to ride a bike. And this is a canoe. Okay, if you want to get to heaven, you have to go this way. But if it's Kevlar, fiberglass, aluminum, it's a boat. But if it's made of wood, it's a canoe.